So now I'd love to hang around here all day and just explore every little nook and cranny of this place, but I can't. I got things to do. Hello, hola cachorro. Hola. I got things to do, so I'm gonna have to spend my time and energy, my caloric energy, finding a way out of this town. It was fun. I posted this article about how for a long, long time Homo sapiens have been primarily meat eaters. So as a store of energy, meat is very potent stuff. It gives the body and brain a lot of energy. So I think eating meat had a lot to do with us getting to a point where we were settled agricultural civilizations. So, even growing wheat and corn required us to eat meat for like thousands of years to get to that point where we could figure out how to, create big armies and Babylons and all that stuff. And then, when you think about it, when industrial period came along, coal, fossil fuels, steam engines, oil. That was another thing, right? It's like potent, and it's made from life, so from food. I mean, we eat trees, we eat plants, we eat animals, and these things turn into oil. Carbon-based life forms create carbon-based energy sources that we know as oil and gas and coal, and it's all potent. So in a way, civilization eats meat. And we wouldn't have gotten to the point where we were making YouTube videos if we hadn't had oil and gas and coal. It never would have happened. Or maybe it would have happened, but it would have taken a long, long time. Because you have to harness a lot of energy to make these things. Maybe we would have stumbled upon, solar panels without oil. Do you really think so? Come on, give me a break. There's no way in hell we would have stumbled upon solar energy panels. Windmills, sure, we had windmills, but solar energy panels, no way. Not without oil. Even a lot of the materials that go into solar panels are hydrocarbon based. So there you have it, vegans. And I love you that you're vegan. I think you should be vegans if you want to be vegan, if you want to be fruitarian or breatharian. Jesus, man, breathe, baby, breathe. Get your energy from wherever you wish. If air is a good store of potent energy, then breathe it, baby. And join the Tokyo Olympics, because you're that good. Oops, one-way street, but it's an attractive street, and it's got some nice little cafes on it. Oh dear, am I doing the wrong thing or the right thing? I think I will go down this one-way street anyway, and just take a chance, because it looks interesting. And it's going to get me where I need to go. So, you needed that energy to get to this place, and then there are, side effects, unintended consequences. And we get to a point where we can literally destroy ecosystems. We, human beings, human civilization, can become omnicidal. It's not just killing your, not just killing the king, or killing the son, or killing the father, killing fellow human beings. It's like killing whole ecosystems. I mean, that is powerful shit. When you can just make things extinct like crazy, because we're an apex predator, man. Once we started, it's like, I'm gonna eat some mammoth, baby. That mammoth lasts a long time. Mammoth jerky will get you through the harshest freaking winter. Not even winter, we're talking about ice age. How are you gonna get through the ice age without mammoth meat? You tell me that. What are you gonna do? How much fat can you store from plants in the summertime to get you through the wintertime when the plants are just barely peeping out of the tundra, the permafrost, peeking through the ice and the snow, the berries and whatnot? So come on, let's admit it. Now we have moral choices we can make now, which is good. And we could decide not to be homicidal or omnicidal. And we could, because we can, seek out alternative energy sources that are just as potent and ways of storing energy. Tides are cool. Anyway, geothermal, well, whatever. I mean, a whole mix of these things, and then you go on and you don't have to kill ecosystems. And of course, the most important ecosystem is ours, that engineering problem, dude. It's an engineering problem. Design and engineering technology. That'll sort it all out. We're going to have like skyscrapers that are farms. It's going to be better, more efficient, more productive. It's going to be great for everybody. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll have sanctuaries for wolves if we want to have. Okay, fine. But there are certain things that are rather dangerous that we should be figuring out right now. That's why I have to give another shout out to Daniel Schmachtenberger and his friends' efforts at creating a sense-making community mechanism, organization, system, blah, 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 that can help us figure out what needs to be done and how to do it, and what's right, what's wrong, and what's truth and what's not truth. Not just truthiness, but like, hey, come on, man, this is the way it is, you know that. I mean, yeah, it may change in time. It may not be what it is right now. It may change. What we need to do might change, but right now. So you have that store of energy. Right now I'm on caloric energy. I'm doing my OMAD or my 16, what is it? My 18.4 or whatever it is. My time restricted diet or my 1 meal a day diet. So I have fat and muscle, and I eat calorically rich, nutritionally rich foods that are good for you. And I store that energy in the form of calories, in the form of sugars and amino acids and whatnot. Then I get on my bicycle and I'm free, baby. I go here and I go there. I could go to San Martino de Porto if I wanted to. So that's the thing. And I wouldn't be such an efficient caloric energy user, aficionado, had there not been oil and gas and high technology to make my rather groovy little electric motor and my lovely little bicycle with its really nice parts. And this machine becomes one with the machine, which is my body, nervous system, and mind. And then I let all those deterministic factors of the universe combine together into a thread of beautiful energy expression, which we call Bouillon tea. And he goes on his little ride abouts while he's still breathing. Isn't that nice? So anyway, you think things through, right? And then you kind of get an interesting picture. And then when you learn something new, it's fascinating. You're not afraid of it. You don't go, man, that doesn't jibe with what my friend said about veganism. Some evolutionary biologist comes along and tells you something, you're like, no. That's wrong. Instead, you say, well, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know that much about it, but that's interesting. Interesting enough to look into. So you're saying that lines of evidence from bones, and fossils, and teeth, and ice cores, and archaeological stuff, blah, 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 is telling us that human beings for a long time ate a lot of meat. And physiologically that had some effects on the whole thing about human beings doing shit. And we couldn't have done a lot of stuff without oil and gas. Well, and then looking forward, your imagination is better informed, and you can imagine many alternative ways to move forward, and you can kind of weigh the risk benefits and say, it might be better if a lot of us thought that this was the way to go. And then you could like access the genius of crowds, right? Say, man, a lot of people have looked into this, a lot of really good people, highly expert folks, and they've all kind of come to a consensus of agreement that this is probably good. And then a whole bunch of other people understood that too, and they decided, yeah, let's do that. And they didn't need a dictator, and they didn't need a bunch of ideologues in some Congress somewhere voting on shit. They could make sense of it, and people kind of fell into the groove. Man, that's nice. No, I get that dance step. That dance step is pretty cool. Feels good, do it. And that's what you kind of hope for. But the truthers will tell you you're stupid, because that'll never happen. It's human nature. We'll continue to disagree with stuff and kill each other until it's all over, or until 7.5 billion people are dead and the players can come back and play Game of Thrones without having to worry about climate change. I'm always amazed at how many people there are in the world that are trying to do amazingly good things. And they're that smart, that talented, that knowledgeable, that technically acute. And they're out there working on shit, getting up in the morning, putting one foot in front of the other, making slow, incremental progress, working in teams of people, gathering information and data from many sources. They don't have to take the credit for everything. Whew. They recognize that they had to pirate some shit to get where they had to go. If your fame isn't such a big commodity and such a big part of your fortune, who knows, you might feel better about being one of the guys who came up with shit. You might not feel like you have to take credit for the whole shebang, which could be cool. You give yourself a break. You don't have to be all that. Yeah, so that's another thing. Energy. The ability to do work. And stores of energy. And understanding that the brain needs energy. The nervous system. Muscles. And that we can come up with really, really good sources of energy that are healthy, sustainable, that make us feel good. And I'm not just talking about that really cool sports drink or the really, really awesome protein bar or those muscles you see in the mirror, but just this vague, abiding, constant sense of well-being. You take a deep breath and you just kind of feel good. And you say to yourself, what a wonderful world. I think most people just want that. How many freaking models of cars do you need to make people feel that? How many kinds of phones that are pretty much all the same anyway do you need to manufacture to give people that sense of well-being? How much energy do you have to use? How long could hydrocarbons last if we use them judiciously? If we added some clear, wise judgment to the consumption? Because they used to say consumption and mean cancer. You probably don't remember that. You probably didn't see that grand era of television series where they used that term consumption when they meant cancer. Immune system's out of control, dude. It's going wild. It's a cytokine storm. We need to do something to regulate that immune response, because it's gonna kill you. And you know, we are capable of regulating all of that shit. We have the technology, we have the knowledge, and we could have the time. Think back to the Scythians now. They couldn't take for granted anything. They had to work hard to get that energy in their bodies. They had to work hard to reproduce themselves, keep the village going. Nothing was easy, but you can imagine they enjoyed life in their own funny kind of way. And when the Scythians came storming in and killed everybody, all they felt was just a brief moment of panic and sheer terror before they died. It happened so fast. And how much did they worry about it before it happened? They were probably too busy putting that energy in their body to worry too much about it. But now, we wake up every day and stare terror in the face. The war on drugs, the war on COVID-19, the war on immigrants. Everything's a fucking war. And yet, we sit around drinking Coca-Cola and eating nachos and watching TV and YouTube. Are we really that bad off? Obviously, some people are, which is why you want to read Chris Hedges' America the Farewell Tour, because you should be aware that it's all not gravy for a lot of people. It makes me feel sad that so many people just want to see other people suffer and lose, because you can't be a winner without a loser. When I watch UFC, they fight. Each fighter has a 50-50 chance of winning, roughly. There are draws, there are no contests. But one's gonna win, one's gonna lose. They know the risk. They can get beat up pretty bad. But at the end of the day, they appreciate each other, because you can't fight without another fighter. God bless them. And there's a lot of respect there, because they have to put the energy in, the work in, mind their diets, their training regimen, get the right kind of protein, do the work, motivate themselves, have that fire. And they respect each other because they know they're all doing it. And yet we don't respect people in Hungary because they're Hungarian? I mean, if you went to Kazakhstan, do you think you'd see anything there that deserves your respect? Or how about if you read the Buddhist canon for a while, you put down that rag-torn, bookmarked Bible with all the boogers in it, and you picked up a pristine, clean Bhagavad Gita and said to yourself, is there anything in that book that I can respect, or is it all satanic verses? You put the energy in, you see people putting the energy in, and you say, I got some respect for them. They're human beings. They got love going on, desire, pain. I can relate. I can almost empathize. Feel some compassion for those poor Syrian refugees and those poor kids in Yemen, even though they ain't like us. They don't understand how exceptional it is to have a GM truck. They don't know how much better the Dallas Cowboys are than the San Francisco 49ers. Because they're ignorant. Ignorant, useless people. Is there anything you can respect about a vegan? Or somebody who points out the fact that we're meat eaters, omnivorous creatures, and apex predators, omnicidal to boot? Well, folks, think about that. And my story will start soon. As soon as I get everything set up. This is just laying the groundwork and giving me a little trip around the Silver Coast region of Portugal. Yes, I'm telling the NSA where I am. The Marines now know where to find me. I will watch my back, I will keep my head on a swivel, and until next time, Boulianti out.